Okay, how?
Well, I was gonna say about the book club has happened.
Oh,
So like a little ad for our own Discord before the main event.
so you think that we should tell the people about the book club that's happening in the Discord?
I think we should run a little ad for it before we start the show and talk
Okay,
about the book club that's in the Discord.
the Discord book club?
Yeah, at bit.ly/crunch discord.
Yeah, the book club that's in the Discord.
Yeah, the book club in the Discord. And you know what book they're doing?
The Power of Silence
Check the Discord to find out. Oh,
against the dictatorship of
it's
noise.
well, I think people should go to bit.ly/crunch discord and check out the Lenten book club on the Power of Silence by Mr. Sarah, Mr. Cardinal. Welcome to the Crunch, the only podcast that, when added to another podcast, does not equal the size of a larger podcast. It's your boy Ethan.
And I'm Patrick. That's good. That's funny.
Thanks. I've been thinking about that all day.
That's good. Do you think people will notice that we're recording this podcast on Ash Wednesday?
I think people notice nothing because their senses are dulled because they are fasting today
Uh-huh.
and also
But
forevermore.
they're not listening to this podcast when they're fasting.
Oh, we're not live stream. We're not live.
We're not live. We were almost live. I hit the go live button on Streamlabs on accident,
Should
and then
we?
I had to
Should
undo
we?
it.
Should we get back on Twitch like a Lenten penance?
I don't know, man. Twitch was fun, but it was kind of like
It's
2
hard.
hours of my time.
Yeah. Coming from the guy that spent an hour making a 10-second video clip earlier, just moments ago.
Listen,
Just moments
listen.
ago.
It took so I was editing this thing, and it took me like an hour or so to like get into the groove of it. But
Groove.
I think now that I've figured out, like a lot of that was like stuff that I don't have to do again, like choose the font, choose the color. You know what I mean? I don't have to do that every time.
Yeah.
Um, I got pretty into it, and then I think all in all, I think I could edit that entire thing again in 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yep,
Wow.
yep, because it
Uh,
was like part of
Color
it.
me impressed.
I mean, the biggest thing with editing was like chopping up the video. And if I had just scripted the video better when I was shooting it, it would have been easier to edit in post.
Hmm. This is
So
why everything is in editing, which is why I hesitate so much to give up the editing rights to the show.
the editing rights to the show.
Yeah, rights and
No,
privileges.
if you like editing so much, I'll let you have
I don't.
it. No one likes editing.
Oh gosh.
All right.
So
Um.
so it's Ash Wednesday. You went to,
Yeah,
obviously, did you go to a mass or did you go to a communion service?
I went to a mass.
Wow. I went to a
Actually,
communion service and they ran out of the Eucharist, which I
no.
was like, what, isn't this one of those moments where like they need a miracle or whatever so that
Yeah.
me and like the four other people at the end of the line can receive Jesus, but
I mean, they can
apparently
split them in half.
that's what I was thinking that they would do, but then they didn't. And then it was like the last 5 people and the deacon just looked at us and went,
Deacon vibes.
I was like, dang. I am a little bit blessed because Peter was screaming during the homily, so I didn't have to listen to the deacon preach the homily. And so that was nice.
Deacon homilies. It's a
Hey, if
shame.
you're a deacon out there,
We're sorry, but
thank you for your service.
mention something other than college football. Like, there's got to be other things that you like books. Do you like books?
I don't even need you to mention anything you like. I just need you to read word for word the homilies of the church fathers and then sit down. And I think we would all be better off, you included, if you did not have to write a Reader's Digest ass homily every single week.
It's a little bit it's insufferable. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. Anyway.
I've heard very few good deacon homilies in my life.
Yeah. And the only good ones that I have heard have been from transitional deacons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just makes you wonder. What's been going on, Pat? What's the news with you today? Tell me about Patrick. Tell me about Lent 23. Tell me about your refusal to give up the flannel shirts.
Yeah, no, I would never.
Tell me what's happening.
Um did we record last year on
No.
Wednesdays?
Did we record last year on Wednesdays?
because I was fasting every Wednesday last year, and I am low energy podcasting today.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard to podcast on an empty tummy.
Mhm.
Every year I forget. Every year I forget. I wake
What
up in the
about
morning.
fasting?
No, every year I wake up and I to fast on Ash Wednesday,
Uh-huh.
and I forget to do. I just go. I'm not. I'm just gonna go to work. I'm just gonna. I don't have. To, I'm just gonna go pray, and then I'm gonna go to work. I'm
Right.
not gonna like. I forget to. Phoebe has this routine.
Mhm.
This moisturizing routine for me that I
Okay.
don't do
You
on Ash
just
Wednesday.
lay there and she does it to you?
No, no, no.
Oh.
She told me about it, and I'm supposed to do it, and I do it pretty much. I do it pretty much every day. But on Ash Wednesday and like fasting days, I'm just too tired to do it, and I'm just like too
You're
hungry.
tired already in the morning?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Pause, 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 pause. Functionally, nothing is different about the morning of Ash Wednesday than any other day.
No, you would think so.
I do
You would think so.
I know
But
so because
but
there
my
you can't
hunger
prove me
in the
wrong.
morning,
Yeah, yeah,
is just so demotivating. Like I don't want to do anything because I'm like I'm gonna feel like this all day.
sure.
There's no reprieve.
You have, a you have ASAD, AWAS, Ash Wednesday seasonal affective disorder.
Yes. Uh-huh.
As
And
Oswald.
Oswald. And I forget to wash my face, and then I go to mass and I hear the gospel where Jesus is like, "When you fast, wash your face." And I'm just like, "Shoot, I forgot to wash my stupid face." But I can't
Ugh.
now because I got the thing on my face.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I also heard the gospel today, and remember that line where it's like, "Don't let your right hand tell your left hand what it's doing."
Yeah.
Last time I checked, hands don't have mouths.
What is this guy talking about? Huh?
We sure we're gonna listen to this dude?
Pluck your eye out. I hardly know her.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, a lot of this stuff this guy said.
Doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, it must have made sense at the time, but we probably don't have to pay much attention to it now.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
probably redaction criticism. It's probably supplemented later in the
Yeah.
Babylonian captivity to
Mm.
reinforce the Davidic kingdom.
Mm.
Yeah.
In the Babylonian captivity after the
I like
gospel was written.
applying historical criticism to things that are like recent. Like,
Mhm.
oh, this section of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is probably a later edition by a
Sure.
different author. Because you can tell by the heavy use of the word like.
Like
It's
and
uncharacteristic of J.K. Rowling's writings
wow. Is that what
in
people
the
say
other
about the
books.
scripture?
Yeah, they'll say like, "Oh, well, this isn't really how Paul writes in other parts of the
It's like,
Bible."
you don't know. How do you don't know?
You
How do
don't
you
know?
know?
How do you know?
It's like as if the only things that Paul ever wrote is the Bible.
I was watching this video
Yeah.
and this guy was like, "Can we add more books to the Bible?" And he's like, "Probably not. To add more books to the Bible would mean we'd have to discover a lost letter of St. Paul." And I was like, "Hey man,
I had a Protestant tell me this once. Yeah.
do you think if we found another letter of St. Paul, it would automatically go in the Bible? Do you think that's what
Dude,
would happen?"
people, they love St. Paul, bro. They love him.
I don't think if we found another letter of St. Paul, if it would go in the Bible.
No, I don't think so either. I believe in a closed canon. I'll say
Yeah,
that
but
right
then that
now.
was the thing was he was like, "Yeah, closed canon. It's like the canon's closed." He was like, "We don't have a." He's like, "We probably can't add books to the Bible because there's no unified body to add those books to the Bible." And I commented, "Hey man,
There
if there's
is.
no unified body to determine the canonicity of a book of the Bible,
Canon.
how did we get this? How did we get it? Who did it just show up at a Barnes and Noble one day and said, "Hi, I'm a bestseller."
Hmm. Who are Barnes and Noble? They're the same guys from the
Barnes and
circus.
Noble, pray for us.
I think with regards to Protestants' love for the Apostle Paul, I think I don't know what they think that he did, but it seems like to me that they think that he just went town to town and just asked people to raise their hands and repeat after him. And then when they did that, he picked up and then went to the next town. And like that's
What
kind
do
of
you mean?
like oh repeat after me. I Jesus, I want you in my heart. Like
Oh, sure.
that's
Yeah,
what he
yeah, yeah.
did.
Mhm.
And that's why I feel like they don't talk about Jesus's ministry as much as Paul's ministry because they can kind of wrap their minds around, oh, this guy just went and told people to say words And then he went to
Uh-huh.
another place and he told them to say words.
It is interesting that that's not what Jesus did.
Yeah, and that's it's like Paul's ministry was very specific to like what he needed to do in those towns in that moment. But Jesus' ministry, I feel like, is more universal, you know? I don't
Yeah.
know. I've been thinking about that. That's not really important or relevant to anything at all. I've just been thinking about it.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
I do think people, like that I had a discussion with my wife about this,
Oh,
because
good.
I don't think Protestants know the Bible as well as we think they do. There's, like, this vibe, right, of, like, now, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
Protestant listeners, bit.ly/
Yeah, all 5 of
repent
you.
and submit to the Pope. Um, but I I was thinking, I was like, the narrative around Protestants in the Bible is like Protestants are like super biblical and Catholics aren't. But if you go to like a Protestant service, they like list a couple of verses like during the sermon. Whereas
That
like at a
are
Catholic
cherry
mass,
picked from all over, like, they are not it's not
yeah,
like, maybe they'll be doing a series on Romans or whatever,
maybe, yeah,
maybe, but usually, my experience has been, we're gonna take a little bit from First Peter, we're gonna take a little bit from Corinthians, we're gonna take a little bit from Galatians, we're gonna take a little bit from this, and that's just the whole thing, you know?
yeah. And so like, but that's the thing, is like all of the books that you just mentioned were letters,
Yep.
and I very rarely hear like Bible stories from
Oh,
Protestant
you mean like
churches.
the Old Testament?
No, 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 like
No,
even New Testament
you mean
stuff,
like
like
David and
even like
Goliath?
no, no, New Testament stuff, like parables, you know? I don't
Oh.
know. I rarely like. I was talking to Phoebe about this, and I was like, I think we compare like the worst Catholic to the best Protestant.
Mm,
You know, like, oh, the average Catholic doesn't know the Bible, but the average Protestant does. I'm like, I don't think that's true. I think the average Catholic and the average Protestant are about 1 to 1 in terms of biblical literacy.
mhm.
What do you think?
I agree. That is interesting, the point about the parables, or at least, like, the stories. I was talking with a guy recently, and I don't remember the context. I wish I did, but I remember, like, thinking it was strange. But we were talking about, in the work that I do, about the idea of empowering women with authentic choice and not trying to
Okay.
coerce them to choose life, because that even coercing someone to make the right decision is still coercion, and you shouldn't do it,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we were talking about like, okay, how can we empower women to give them all the options, including abortion, so that they can make a real choice, right? Because we know that the pro-abortion people, they don't want them to make
There's
a
no
real
choice. Yeah.
choice, right? They funnel them into making one choice, and that's abortion. So how can we give them the full range of options? You know, adoption, parenting, and abortion. Really, can we do that? And he was talking about something. He like quoted something from Paul. And I said, "Yeah, it also makes me think of the rich young man, you know, where Jesus offers it to him and he rejects it. And it's like, it's better that way because then he had a
Yeah.
real choice to follow Jesus or not." And he kind of like blankly stared at me as if
Uh
like
huh.
what I was saying was just like not relevant at all. And maybe it was just the moment, you know?
Huh. Yeah.
And like we were moving fast and things were going and we were talking about, we were on to the next thing, you know? But I was like, I feel like what I said way more relates to what we're talking about than what the verse that you just quoted, you know, that is
Yeah.
like about choice generally. But like this is a real story of Jesus doing this with a person, you
Uh huh.
know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. And that's not a universal law or rule, but I just remember it sticking out to me as like he should really have identified with that a lot more than he did,
Yeah,
you
well, I
know?
mean, I was at a Protestant youth group, and this might be bad because it was a bunch of high schoolers, but
No, I think we
we
can
were
make
doing
fun of
like a
high schoolers.
we were doing like a trivia thing. I was in high school at the time, so
Oh, okay. I think, well, then especially we can make fun of these high schoolers.
well, it was like a trivia thing, and it was like it was like a biblical trivia thing, and one of the hard questions was one of the expert questions was,
Yeah.
what was the name of the guy who helped Jesus carry the cross?
Oh,
Expert level question. Yeah, Ethan.
Simon.
And I was like,
Pick me.
Simon.
It's Simon.
And everyone was like, "How did you know
How
that?"
did you know that?
I was like, "'Cause every year
Yeah, I hear it
during Lent,
in the
we hear
passion.
the story." I'm
Yeah,
like, I've heard this story every year my entire life. Have
and
you
you're
guys
so
not heard
bored
this
because 'cause you're
story?
standing and you have to listen to the priest be Jesus, and you have to listen to some random lady be the voice. Well, who's the voice? That doesn't make any sense. I have to stand there and listen. So of course I'm gonna remember it because I've stood there being like, oh, like the only thing you can think about is the name of the guy holding the cross.
Exactly.
You know, that's crazy.
And yeah, I was like, that's wild
Yeah.
that you guys didn't know that. But that's it. It's like the story, and I think this is what it is. It's easier what Protestants have for doctrine is the Bible. And so like it's hard to um their focus on biblical study
Hmm.
is the words of Paul and the
Hmm.
words of the Catholic letters, because those are the things that tell people
What to do?
yeah, what to do. And like
Then you can just
the
follow it.
the stories are not really relevant at all because they don't have like there's not like a culture of like analogy, you know,
Hmm.
or like
Well, stories, they're not pedagogical, you know, like reading about what Jesus did doesn't on the surface tell me what to do. You know,
sure.
it doesn't tell
Yeah.
me what to believe. It's just like, oh, okay, I guess I should do that sometimes when I'm in that situation. And that's the extent to which this means anything to me, which is wrong. I don't know. I feel bad talking about all this stuff because I don't freaking read the Bible, dude. So like, I don't, I don't have. At
I
least
will
like
say
I have, but I have not read it
I will say
recently.
that it's likely you're not going to hear a rich young ruler story in a Protestant church because
Yeah,
it's like such a weird thing, especially if you don't have
yeah.
monastic life as a part of your tradition. You're like, oh, this is like a metaphor. It's like, well, is it? Because he very clearly was upset by this. So like,
Hmm.
are we supposed to sell everything we have and come follow Jesus?
Yeah, that's interesting. Have you seen this thing that's happening in like the some church or some university somewhere where it's like 2 weeks straight? People have been coming in and praying. Have you heard about this?
The Asbury revival.
Yes. What do you think of that? That's an interesting thing.
I saw people doing things there in the church. They're just dancing. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Um,
It's somebody compared that to, I don't know if I saw this on Twitter or not, but somebody said this is interesting because when you have a revival like that where it's just people praying day in, day out, getting saved, getting healed, all these things, and it's, you know, in a one particular location and people are
yeah.
coming and going to experience this particular grace in this place. And then you tell them about a monastery and they're like, I don't know about that. That's a bit too much. They like compared it to monastic life and about how that's like they're seeking the exact same thing as what monasticism provides, but it's
Interesting.
just
I
it's
didn't think about that.
yeah, it's just your comment made me
Yeah.
think about that. But um I yeah, it's all very interesting. I'm in my new work. I work with Protestants a lot more now because obviously they're our allies
Sure.
in the fight against
Yes.
abortion.
Indeed.
And so a lot of these things are coming up and I'm realizing I don't read the Bible anymore. I've been thinking about this for
Oh
Lent.
yeah.
I've been thinking about this for Lent and like I don't know, man. I made a plan. So I watched Braveheart.
Okay. Yeah. For Lent, it's a good Lenten film.
For well, yeah, I watched it at the
Yeah.
beginning, and did you see my tweet?
I did.
I posted a picture of William Wallace as he's about to fight the English, and I said, "This is how guys see themselves when they delete Reddit off their phone for 40
Yeah, that's
days."
really funny. Yeah.
No traction on it at all, but I thought it was good. Um, but I was thinking about like that guy, you know. Obviously, it's a very masculine film, and just about how like he goes off with his uncle at the beginning of the movie and he comes back, I don't know, 20 years later, 25 years later, he's speaking Latin, he's speaking French,
Uh-huh.
he knows the scripture, he's holy, and he kills these people to like save his family or whatever. And it's like, man, I don't do any, I don't even like, I don't even
I don't kill people to save
what
my family.
yeah, I've never killed a
What am I
guy.
even doing?
First of all, I've never killed a guy. Second of all, I don't read the Bible. What's wrong with me?
I don't know, man. Well,
I
let's
feel
start
I just I
start with the
feel
second thing.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I just feel very weak in all my in my bones and in my muscles. You've
uh,
heard me tease this out over many, many months about how I feel weak in my body and weak in my spirit.
sure.
You know? What's the deal with that? How do
I
you
don't know.
become how do you go from being kind of a weak little guy who's afraid all the time, who's not very courageous, who doesn't exercise, who has a good job, good family, good life, you know, there's nothing to complain
Yeah.
about. But how do I go from this to like being a real brave, courageous person,
Heart. A brave heart.
a brave heart? I don't know, because I look at you and I'm like, Patrick's a guy that's brave, you know?
Is that so?
Yeah.
What makes me brave, Ethan?
Well, so I was thinking about our time at Seek, and you just were walking up to a lot of people, and I was like, I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't know what I'm going to say to these people. I don't want to. It was partially because I was tired, but it was also partially because there was like a genuine fear of like
Ah,
what they would think of me if I went up. And you don't have that because you're very brave. And I heard someone
mm,
say recently, brave people are more fun. I'm like, that's why Patrick is so fun to be around, is because he's very
thank you.
brave. And so I've just been thinking about all these things a lot lately, and I'm just wondering what the heck is wrong with me.
Um, I don't know.
All right.
I don't really think anything. I don't know. I'm reticent to criticize my friends. I don't really have
Well, I
like
don't want you to
a
criticize me per se, but
I don't like
I just want you to
agree
eviscerate me,
automatically.
annihilate me, vaporize me, just like totally, kneecap me.
I don't know.
You don't have to talk about me specifically. You can just talk about what makes men weak and lack courage.
talk broadly. I see. Well,
Mhm. And then I will apply it to me and then stay up late tonight thinking about it. I think we should become a men cast. I've been looking at the
oh
Catholic
yeah.
Man Show and seeing how successful they are and thinking that we should rebrand as a man cast for men.
Most of our followers on Instagram are women, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
What? So
I think I have to go look it up on Spotify, but I think most of our listeners are women.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Are we effeminate?
No, I stand by what I've said.
He hesitated.
In the I stand by what I've said in the past is that the two groups of people who listen to our podcast are Catholic moms and Catholic sorority girls
Mhm.
because who wants nice Catholic boys more? You know
Yeah, it's
who wants
true.
to hear from nice Catholic guys?
Do you think people are living out their fantasies by listening to us? Not like
Uh,
not like
not like
those.
that,
Not
not
like
like
that,
that.
but like
No.
normal men that are Catholic and friendly, you know? Are we developing parasocial relationships with our audience?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Um,
What are you
what
looking up there?
is?
What are you Googling?
I'm checking our audience. All right, our
Yeah.
audience is 52% female, 48% male.
Okay.
Um, 48.5% is 23 to 27. Most of our listeners are 18 to 34, and the top artist they listen to is Taylor Swift. Still, so
That's just because you listen to our podcast and you're top
yeah,
artist. You've skewed the results.
I've skewed. That's on me. I
Yeah.
apologize. Yeah. So I guess not most of our audience is women, but most of our Instagram followers are women.
That's
What
okay.
was that? What was
We don't
happening?
have to talk about bravery or courage if you don't want to.
No, I don't have anything to say. That's the only I like the topic.
It's all
I
right. It's just what I've been thinking about because I watched Braveheart recently.
how does I was thinking about this in bingo card. I was thinking I was when I was writing my book
Mhm. That's fair.
about bravery. Not bravery specifically, but like how men tend to like run away. Like
Mhm.
that's our default. Um,
You'd
that's
think
like
that wouldn't be the case, though.
why?
I don't know, because 'cause we're big and strong,
I mean,
powerful.
sure, but like that was kind of Adam's vibe, right? Was he was like, I'm gonna run away from God, and then when God finds
I'm
me, I'm
not
gonna run
running
away
away
from
from
my wife.
anything.
I got a big old dumbbell. I appreciate that that dumbbell hasn't moved in 3 days.
No, I've been using it
Oh,
to
okay,
lift.
that's good. Um, but yeah, I think our masculine tendency is to run away. It's a product of the fall. Um, different guys run away in different ways. Some run physically, like by abandoning their families or avoiding
Mm,
even having a family.
yeah.
Um, some run by going relationship to relationship. Some run by like throwing themselves into their job or a hobby. Some men run away by like alcohol and like drugs and stuff like that.
Video.
I think I think this is a unique sin of men
Mm,
specifically.
interesting.
This tendency to run. Um, and I think it's rooted in I think it's rooted in our fall. I think it's rooted in our fallen nature.
Hmm.
Um, men tend to run away.
That is a good point that it's not, um this isn't something that women experience as much.
I don't think women tend to experience this desire to run away as much as
Yeah.
guys do.
That is so. That makes a lot of sense to me. I feel like what you've just described, that whole tendency, is like exactly what I'm battling against in this Lenten season.
Sure.
Um, I kind of have like 4 things that I'm focused on. It's prayer, routine, community, and suffering are like the 4 things that I've kind of highlighted as like, all right, this is how
Yeah.
I can start to tackle the fear, and the desire to run away. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. There's like a deeper fear inside all of it. It's like, what if all this is for nothing?
Oh, sure. Well,
You know
it's
what I
not.
mean?
So yeah.
I'm like a Russian doll,
Uh
a
huh.
Matryoshka doll, a Malyosha doll of fear and anxiety,
Uh
and I'm
huh.
only just now realizing that.
Except when you open it in a little, instead of a littler doll, it's a greater one. It's a bigger one on the
It
inside.
it's true, it goes in reverse. It reverses the second law of thermodynamics, and there's
Yes.
bigger dolls inside the larger dolls. We don't have to talk about my problems, we do enough of
Funniest
that on
thing
the
I ever
podcast.
came up with when I was a kid was I was
Yeah.
writing an Indiana Jones parody book for when I was in 6th grade,
Uh-huh.
and, the temple
Called
the temple
Montana Mike.
something like that, something stupid like that.
Yeah. That
But
was good.
the joke was that as you got closer,
Mhm.
the big building, like, it looked really big in the distance, but as you got closer, it got smaller.
Oh,
Instead of normal how things look smaller in the distance and then get
to
bigger.
and get bigger as you
This
get
was a
closer.
cursed temple, and it looked really big
Oh.
from far away, but as you got closer, it turned out it was really tiny. The guy couldn't even get in.
Aw, man.
Yeah, it was
And
funny.
that's the end of the adventure.
Yeah, sorry, I did the adventure.
Poor Montana Mike.
Imbiamba Jones. That's
He's
what
never gonna make it out of the
I think it was
museum.
Dakota Smith.
Dakota Smith?
Easy.
That's pretty
That's
good.
like
Yeah.
that's isn't that a Dune character?
What's his name? Duncan, Idaho?
Duncan, Idaho. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like I forget what joke I made, but I was like, um, Duncan, Idaho is stupid because his last name is a state, like George Washington.
Has
That's
anybody
dumb.
done Arrakis runs on Duncan?
That's funny.
Yeah. That's people should tweet that real quick. But you gotta, like, Photoshop his face onto the man, you know?
Arrakis runs on Duncan.
Arrakis runs on Duncan. That's good. Well, what else? Do you wanna laugh? Do you wanna joke?
I do. I'm totally down.
Okay.
I'm very
I don't have anything to joke
I'm
about.
very tired.
I
So
am too.
there's
I am
yeah.
too. And that makes for a good show.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's think for a second.
Oh, I forgot. I meant to bring this up on the show because it's content, and
Okay.
I figured you were gonna find out eventually.
Oh,
I got invited back on Around the Halo tonight without you.
I won.
I think that's why.
I
I think
won. I was
no.
better at it.
I think I'm in the losers bracket.
He
Look,
didn't invite me on
I still
recently,
I
but I
still
didn't.
stand I still stand by that I got robbed because I made a funny joke and John made the same joke and then you made a different joke and that made yours look better, but John stole my joke. So that's why I didn't win.
John stole your joke.
Yes.
What was your joke?
I don't remember because I don't actually care that much. But I I remember I made a joke and then John stole the joke and then you made a different joke and you got more points because yours is more original in comparison.
Yes.
But no, Joel texted me yesterday that he wanted me to come on. I think someone must have dropped because I got subbed on.
Well,
But they want to do
he texted me like a couple weeks ago and was like, "Hey," and I just didn't respond fast enough, and I think Katie Ruby went on or something instead.
oh sure. Yeah, so
Um,
you're gonna go on eventually. That's what he told me.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
was like, "Oh, Ethan, not this time, but next time we're gonna do like a winners bracket." So I think he thinks that you're gonna win yours, and he wants to do like a winners circle at the
Well,
end.
yeah, of course I'm gonna win. I'm good at that type of program because
I'm too serious.
I over prepare, and then I compensate by the fact that I feel like I've over prepared by just making a lot of jokes, and then
Sure, sure, yeah.
and then I get lots of points.
I have been thinking about how badly I want to get back into stand up comedy. Do you want to do stand up comedy? It's
Teach
really
me,
fun.
teach me
It's
how
really
to.
fun.
Can you do a comedy course and I'm the only person that enrolls and it's free?
It's just you and me talking.
This is what this is. It's this.
um,
I literally wrote down. I have a list of things because sometimes when I don't know what I'm working on, Then I get distracted. I look at social media. It says here things I want to know / learn about so that I can use my Lenten time that's more free in the ways that I want to. Right here it says comedy / writing jokes. I just wrote that down this morning,
Wow, yeah.
and I want to know. Can you show me? I did invite
Um,
James Donald Forbes McCann onto the
he
podcast.
did. He's responded. You
He
haven't
did?
responded back.
He
Yes.
did? What?
Yes. You haven't
No.
texted him back yet.
Well, I deleted Instagram off my phone.
James Donald Forbes McCann of the James Donald Forbes
Forbes
McCann
McCann,
Catamaran Plan
Catamaran.
podcast is interested in coming on our show. He said, "Please, whenever suits."
Whenever suits. Goodness gracious.
I know.
Let's record next week. We usually record on Wednesdays. Wednesday afternoons. But will that be in the middle of the night for you? Let's record next week. Send. Okay. Wow. I'm so excited for that. I didn't know he responded. I didn't see the notification. You must have opened it before me.
No, I didn't open it.
That's wow. Oh, I'm so excited. What is that? What does it say?
It's him on a jet ski that says, "I am the effing man."
He's so funny, dude.
Oh man.
I've been listening to a lot of his stuff. He's a person that I think is very brave. We could talk to him about
Oh
that.
yeah.
He has no guile in him whatsoever. He's
What you said that about me? What does that mean? What do you mean? What do you think that means?
let me look up guile.
No. I need you to tell me what you think it means first. You can't look up the
A
definition.
guile
of
is a medieval association of craftsmen or merchants, often having considerable power.
That's a guild.
Oh no.
What do you think the word guile means?
Guile means like having predilections and like self-awareness. And so if you're a guile,
I have no self-awareness.
No, not in a negative way. Like you remember how you were like 4 years ago?
Sure.
Chock full of guile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now
So-
you're out of it.
So guile means like duplicity.
Yeah.
Like they're scheming.
Oh, well, hold on. Maybe I have the wrong word.
Yeah, you have the wrong word. But when I was in elementary
Sly
school,
or cunning intelligence. So,
Yes.
okay, so more so like people without guile are earnest.
yes.
That's
That
what
makes
that's what I
sense.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of guilds and guile, my friend Matthew, when I was in elementary school, we were playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, in which you join a guild. Do you ever play that game?
No, I never played a Pokemon game because Pope John Paul II said that I could not play it.
No. Pope Benedict said you could.
Pope Benedict, well, I mean, you know, Hitler's youth pope.
Oh my gosh, I'm so mad. How dare you?
Can you imagine
So
Adolf Hitler playing Pokemon in the bunker? Anyway,
do you think you play Pokemon in the bunker?
you think he played Pokemon in the bunker? That's the real reason that he went into the bunker, so that he could just play on his Game Boy
He's
SP.
like, "Hey Ava, do you want to just go in the bunker and vibe? Can we just vibe in the bunker?"
Not actually dead. He just really wanted to play Pokemon.
He just really needed some me time, you know.
He's got plenty of it now.
Yeah, geez.
Yeah, because he's
say what
in
you
hell.
will about Hitler, but he killed Hitler. So
Whoa, never heard that one before.
I know it's great.
I'm gonna put a pin in that. Finish.
Say what you will about Stalin, but he killed millions. So
I'm gonna have to do so much editing this week.
No. That one's funny. That's an
Okay.
Instagram reel.
I'll keep it
That's a reel. I've been reading a book about the famine in communist Russia.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's awful.
yeah, it is.
It was really bad.
Why do you pick the most depressing books to read?
Yeah, I read one about like the IRA. In the
Yeah, you read one
70s.
about the Third Reich.
Yeah.
What's your deal?
I don't
The
know, man.
IRA.
History's sad. History's
You
sad.
read a book about the IRS next.
Hey, what was I talking about? Oh,
We're
yeah,
talking about Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. You join a guild in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon,
Yeah.
and my friend Matthew kept calling it a guild. And I was like, "Matthew, it's not a guild, it's a guild." And we had this huge friendship ending fight about
Whoa.
how to pronounce it until his mom was like, "Yeah, it's guild, Matt." And he was like, "Well, I think there's 2 pronunciations."
You can't
We
do
also
that.
had a friendship ending fight about, whether or not the oldest city in America was St. Augustine or if it was Jamestown.
St. Augustine?
St. Augustine.
I gotta blow my nose real quick because I'm sick.
I was talking to someone about this. Why is it that in English it's
Wait to talk
Augustine,
until I'm
but
done.
in every Romance language it's Augustino?
Say that again. You couldn't wait till I was done blowing my
How come
nose?
in every No. How come in every Romance language it's Augustino or something like that, and in English it's Augustine?
I don't know. Because the everywhere else, they have to have a vowel at the end of their words or else they can't say them.
That's true.
Right. Spaghetti.
Did you know that there's a Street Fighter character named Major
What are
Guile?
we talking about?
I still have Guile pulled up. He's got like a little mushroom hat on
Oh,
his head. I'll show you him.
please
Um,
do.
Here, I'll send you a
I'm gonna
link.
have to get a recliner in a minute here.
Why?
There's someone's dropping off the furniture store is dropping off furniture at our house because we ordered a baby rocker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I might have to do that in a second. But show me Major
Oh,
Guile.
I
Oh,
just sent you Major Guile.
I don't think that's a hat. I think that's his hair.
What?
Yeah,
Bummer.
his head his head looks like a look like look like a butte. Look like a mesa over there.
Plateau head.
Yeah, his head's looking like a freaking.
Someone responded to my Protestant fog machine tweet today, and said, I posted something about like people say Lent is pagan. People say Lent isn't biblical. Neither are fog machines. So just let us do our thing. Um, and someone responded, I genuinely think Catholics haven't met a Protestant that's not a member of Joel Osteen's church. And I'm going to respond, guilt by association.
Yeah, you're an accomplice to Joel Osteen.
Accomplice.
That's funny. I was thinking about. So I want to get back to you wanting to get back into stand up comedy, but I was thinking about this thing
Yeah, I want to get
about
back into stand up comedy.
because you were talking about high school and that's what you did in high school. But I've been thinking about my high school and about how my generation is perfectly bifurcated between millennials and Gen Z
Yes.
because we had in my grade, there were people who were like really into the safety dance unironically. And then we also had people who like made vines during class. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like so I saw the two generations unfold.
Mhm.
And it's very interesting because like there then you also have like the Invader Zim kids, which are kind of in the middle, really.
Yes.
Like really
The
perfectly in the
Nightmare
middle.
Before Christmas, Invader
Mhm.
Zim kids. Yeah.
Mhm.
The
My
Hot
Chemical
Topic kids.
Romance. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Wednesday Addams.
that unique. So I'm not talking about like goth like back in the day. I'm talking about
No.
that like 2010 scene kid energy.
Yes.
That is something that I don't think will ever come back, and I think is vastly underappreciated because all of those kids, they were nice to me. And the
They
Vine
were
kids
so
were mean.
sweet.
The Vine kids were mean to me, and the safety dance kids were all Mormon and thought I was going to hell. And so it was. I think Mormons are just millennials, and that's just how it's going to be, unfortunately,
Forever.
forever.
Joseph Smith was the first millennial. The Angel Moroni said, "Come get these golden plates. They're full of Nyan cat spaghetti. OMG XD so random."
Mhm.
That's from First Nephi.
Yeah, First Nephi. You've read it. You've done your reading on the Book of Mormon,
I've read some. Book
or at
of
least you
Mormon
saw the
was.
musical.
I did see the musical. No, I listened to the soundtrack of the musical.
It's not the
Yeah.
same. Not
No,
the
it's not the
same.
same.
No, 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 no. So tell me about your desire to get back into stand-up comedy. What's the
Well,
deal?
I think I'm gonna be better at it, even though I haven't done it in a while, because I speak in front of middle schoolers, and like
Mhm.
once you've spoken, like that's the thing about middle schoolers is that if you make them laugh, you could probably be a stand-up comedian because they don't have a 2 drink minimum, and they hate you.
That's true, and they also I mean, talk about, like, a rough crowd, you know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean? If you can handle, you know, Chaz in the back who doesn't care about what you're saying and has his socks pulled up to his groin, then
yeah. Did I complain about one of my middle schoolers
No,
to you
no, do it right
recently?
now. Do it right now.
One of these kids, one of these kids
Oh, get him.
in
Light
the
him up.
middle of the talk, he's like, "I'm playing chess," and I'm like, "Okay." Before the talk starts, like, "I'm gonna play chess." I'm like, "Fine.
I
I
did
don't
that during the podcast a few weeks ago, to be fair.
go
So
play chess. I don't care. Like, it's not a big deal."
yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, that's cool." He's like, I'm ranked 1,500." I'm like, "That's awesome. I'm gonna do the talk now." And so I did the talk, and in the middle of the talk, like, I'm hitting a major point, and he goes,
Mhm.
"Checkmate." And I'm like, "Hey, man, you already made your point that you are playing chess in the middle of the talk. There's no more people to impress.
Right.
Everyone who is going to be impressed by you playing chess is already impressed and has moved on."
Yeah.
Um, and so I talked to him afterwards. I was like, "Oh, are you really like ranked 1,500? That's awesome." He's like, "No," and I was like, "All right, cool. Like,
What is happening?
I didn't pick that number out of thin air.
Yeah, you said
You
it.
said that." And I was
Yeah.
like, I could it's not out of the line of question. It's like not out of the realm of reason for a an 8th grader to be really good at chess and like
Yeah.
play all the time and get a 1,500 on chess.com. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like you
This
can
is not a USCF ranking.
yes. Yeah, you're not playing, you're not playing in ranked tournaments, right? And he's like, "No, I'm like 500." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Like I'm at like 800 and like slowly declining." And he was like, and then walked away. And I was like, "Man, what do you want? Like, do you want to talk about chess? Do you want to like do you want people to know you as a chess guy or not?
Yeah.
Because like I'm trying to have a conversation with you, man."
Right. Yeah.
Like, and
That's so funny.
this is what middle schoolers are. All right,
Yeah.
this is where they're at. They're very down. They think everyone hates them and they hate everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can make a middle schooler laugh,
Yes.
you can make drunk 20-year-olds laugh.
That's
It's
true.
easier. It's
Drunk
easier
20-year-old. And man.
because they've gone there because they want to see you.
Mhm.
They want to watch you make them laugh.
Right. Or they just wanna watch someone, maybe not necessarily you,
Yeah,
but
not you, maybe.
they just wanna laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here's my problem. I have focus brain, right? So, like,
Oh yeah.
I was in focus for so long, 3 years, and only have in the last year have just gotten back into, like, the culture writ large.
Uh-huh.
But, like, I don't know what's funny. I feel like the things that I think are funny, and this is proved on Twitter as well, like, the things that I think are really funny, only, like, 4 people think are funny, you know? And I just worry that if I get back out there, I don't think we'll have this problem because
You don't think so?
you're an everyman.
Oh sure.
Everybody no, but I think something in my brain is broken where I shielded myself from all of the stuff in, like, the pop culture, but then also developed this, like, really niche, really weird sense of humor that's just for me, and now I can't take what I've done over here and put it
Sure.
back over there, you know what I
I mean,
mean?
you can like take what I was asked to do stand up comedy in college for like a talent show, and I hadn't done it in a while,
Yeah.
and so I was like, "All
You
right,
probably crushed.
I did."
Yeah.
I absolutely ate, as the kids say. Um,
What did
and
you
what I
eat
did
on
was I
stage?
took like I had gone to the doctor on campus because I had problems with my lower back, and she said this sounds like
From carrying
spinal
the talent show?
stenosis. Yeah, she said this sounds like spinal stenosis,
Okay.
and she was like, "Do you find yourself tripping often, particularly on the top stair?" And I said, "Oh no, yes, I do." And she was like, this is a disease that like degrades your legs over time." I know. And I was like, I thought it was really funny because like she hadn't tested anything. I
Yeah.
just said things, and I was like, she's WebMD in real life, you know? And I was like, this is a really
Yeah.
funny story. I
That
could
is
probably
funny.
like punch this up and
Yeah,
draw
yeah.
it out to 10 minutes or so. And so that's what I did. You don't
Is
have
there
to
a
like,
recording of this somewhere?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna splice it in.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna Google
Um,
Patrick Nevy talent show.
Spinal stenosis. Um, but I did do the talent show 2 years in a row, and Chris Stefanik came up to me after the Steubenville talent show and said, "Oh, we'll see you at the conferences one of these years." And I said, "Yeah,"
Whoa.
and here I am, not there.
Wow. Hey, there's still time. You're young. What are you, 28, 29?
Somewhere in there.
That's great. I'm very impressed. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm a shell of a man.
It's okay, man. You're doing great.
No, I don't feel good anymore. I feel like I don't have anything left to do.
I
I've done all that God wants me to do on the earth, and now He's going to take me away because
this is
I burp on a podcast.
I burped on the podcast. Hello. How was your
Yeah,
day at work, babe? I burped on the
I
podcast.
burped on the
I
podcast
don't want to
again.
talk about it.
I had to put a goofy sound effect over it so that people could hear my gross wet burp.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, how long are we at right now? Have we been podcasting for a long time?
We're at 25 minutes.
You're joking.
I am joking. We've been recording for 52 minutes, but I don't know how much of that was you showing me your vertical video.
Sure, yeah. Okay. Took me longer to I want to get back into making reels. I don't know if you remember this era of my Instagram where I was like I was
You mean like
home.
6 months ago?
No, no, no. No, there was like it was back in 2020. It was when I was like when
I certainly don't remember that.
Phoebe and I were both working. And so I was working Sunday through Thursday and she was working Monday through Friday. And
Right.
so I always had a day to myself. And so on Fridays, I
Oh,
would like be thinking about something and I would just go do an Instagram story. This is before Reels
this is
really
before
happened.
Reels.
Yeah, so on my Instagram story, I would do like a bunch of captions and
Mhm.
I would like, I would do like I would rant about something. Um those were great. I think reels are a better way to like a better medium to do that. Like the editing thing is cool. Um, I think that those are more fun than YouTube videos because like they're less time consuming.
Sure.
Um, and you can do funny things with them. You know, like I did a funny reel where I got hit in the face with Ash Wednesday. That was fun.
Oh.
Keith, grassroots Catholic. That's the other thing is that Keith and Amber are friends of ours. They both follow us and they share our stuff.
Oh, and we get more followers. How many followers do we have now?
Not a lot.
Oh, no.
660.
Well, maybe if we have James Donald Forbes McCann on our program, then we will blow up, as the kids say.
As the kids say.
Yes, we will eat.
Do you think that all of our friends from the Discord will remain our friends after we become big time podcasters?
I think a better question is, do you think all of our friends on the Discord will still be our friends when we inevitably have a slow but painful decline?
we gotta we gotta quit while we're ahead. Unfortunately, we're ahead now. So we should probably quit.
That would have been in 2017,
That
our peak.
was
We
not
were
a
at
peak.
we were at the peak of our relevancy in
That's not true.
2017.
That's not
It
true.
is true. Matt Frad quote tweeted me.
That's cool.
Yeah, well, we can do Dr. Ethan's dating corner
Cool.
if you want. Yeah.
I am excited about this question. Welcome to Dr. Ethan's Dating Corner, sponsored by you guys. Sponsored by you sad sacks of singleness. I'm sorry. Was that mean?
No.
I'm trying to do that thing where I have like an adversarial relationship with our audience. I'm noticing that's in now. Like,
Yeah.
especially with Twitch streaming, you like in order to create conflict, you like argue with chat or you like, you know,
Well, that's what you do when you don't have any real friends.
oh, what?
Like, if you don't have any friends in your videos, in your Twitch streams, then you have to argue with the chat. I have you, so I don't need a chat.
Argue with me.
Yeah.
That's fair. I guess it's weird when we do it to each other or do it like just ourselves. We do it to the listener because it's like we're double teaming.
I don't
You
think
know?
it's weird when we do it to each other.
You don't think so?
No,
Like,
I
no,
think it's
not to each other. I'm saying like when we do it to our audience, when we're adversarial with our audience, it's weird
mm,
when we do that to them because it's like we're
mm,
double teaming. You know, it's like all of a
yes.
sudden you're like, imagine like being in a group because people say that that's the vibe they get from our podcast. It's like, oh, I'm just having a conversation with my
Yeah,
friends. You know,
yeah.
imagine if you're having a conversation with your friends and
And
all
then
of a
two of
sudden
your friends
two
turn to you and just start berating
just
you.
roasting you like you're single and you're never
He's
gonna find
you're,
anybody.
you're
Get out of
so
here.
ugly, and I can't
Um,
believe it would ever do that.
okay,
I
so
would never say
this
that to my audience.
good thing we don't have a single person writing in today. We have a married person. So
Oh, business.
dating from James. Dating, marriage, actually, LOL question here. Dear Dr. Ethan and Professor Patrick. That's how you burp on
Yeah,
the
I
podcast.
move away from the mic to breathe.
Excuse me. Excuse me. How can I be a more attentive husband?
Oh,
Longtime listener since 2018, newlywed since October. My wife and I dated for 5 years before we got married. We met at college at a swing dancing social.
ooh.
We are both practicing Catholics. We practically grew up together, and we are more established in our lives, careers, etc. Um, we had a really good engagement period of learning, premarital counseling, therapy, marriage prep, etc. Marriage has been a lot of fun. It also revealed to me how unaware I can be of my surroundings, aka the state of our home and time management. I
Mhm.
have adult ADHD. I do not like to think of it as a crutch just to be okay with living passively or in mediocrity. I truly desire to be a good husband and father someday. I don't want my wife to be my parent and tell me to do things around the house. I want to start noticing the needs around me. Any advice would truly be appreciated. Thanks. Don't hesitate to ask follow up questions. Um, I don't have any follow-up questions.
I
Ethan,
don't
what do you
either.
think? Advice on being a good husband, more attentive husband. Oh man, you don't have any ideas?
I mean, I have some ideas, but I can't say that they're based out of things that I do.
I can talk about something that happened recently.
Uh, I think so. How to be more attentive? Well, I don't know anything about ADHD, but I can't imagine that it just means that you have blinders up to everything all the time forever.
Yeah,
So you have to install some system that works for you to make you remember to check on things or help out with things. I don't know what that is, but maybe when you uh, eat breakfast, you just check the dishwasher and you're like, oh, the dishes. I can put those away. I got 5 minutes, right? And then start to build that habit of like, oh, I just kind of check to see if that's there, right? And if it is, if it's not full, we don't worry about it. You don't do anything, right? But you just have installed that little boop. I'm gonna check. Oh, okay, right, and I can move on. So you can start doing that with lots of different things. The trash, you can start doing it with the laundry. You can start doing. Does it need to be moved over? Oh, I can do
yeah.
that. So there's little things like that that you can just if you put a little interruption in your day to check on those things, that can be a very good way to be attentive. Is he a dad? Is he a parent? No, no dad. It's different when you're a dad because there's a
Yeah,
whole other thing to help with.
yeah.
And so I don't want to say that you have it easy right now because that is a jerk thing to say, but it does get significantly more intricate when you have a third
It's
person.
good to build the habits now
It's good to build the
for
habits
when you need
now.
them. You
Yes.
know?
So I will say something that Emma and I have talked about for me, because I struggle with this a lot, is not just like letting Emma be the default parent, because she's the one with the baby all day.
Yeah.
And so then so like on the weekends or in the evenings, my thought is, oh, I gotta do this thing. I gotta do this task.
Yes.
I am the one that mows the yard. So I'm going to go mow the yard. I am the one that typically cleans up the kitchen after dinner. So I'm going to be the one that does that. When in reality, what Emma needs is to not be holding the baby. And so I got to go hold the baby, which to me is like, well, I'm not able to do the chore that I normally do. But it's listening and being
Sure.
attentive to what Emma needs and adjusting my behaviors based on that. So that's been really good. Um, yeah. And I would say the more that you can leave your phone away and just listen and be attentive and communicate to your wife when this is also another problem that happens is the communication. So like sometimes she's talking to you and telling you a whole bunch of stuff and you're not really ready to listen. You're not really there
Yeah.
because you're thinking about something else. And so being able to say, I want to be fully aware of what you're saying. I need you to stop. I need to finish do whatever. And then I want to pay full attention to you. Because right now you're telling me about 5,000 things that you've thought about all day and you haven't had anyone to talk to. And so now you're telling me, but like I can't, right?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So like being open about that stuff. So
Yeah.
that way you really hear her more and then you can start to implement the things that she's telling you so that you're not just floating through life, and not being attentive.
Yeah, I think I've experienced something similar with I yes, if you have ADHD and you have this thing in your pocket that
Polly Pocket.
in your pocket that is designed to draw your attention away
Mhm.
from things, put that away.
Put it
I think
away.
um,
Don't get it out unless you need
my
it for something
my personal
specific.
my personal phone is pretty locked down. And so like I keep my evening and morning routines on my phone. But if that's too distracting, keep like a notepad that has your morning and evening routines. I suggest writing down your morning and evening routines and going through them step by step every night, and putting those chores in the way that makes the most sense. And if you need to change them, change them. But as long as you have a plan, it's easier to steer a moving ship, right? So, like, for example, I kept forgetting to run the dishwasher at night. I kept forgetting, and it was a problem because we'd wake up and we need bowls. We didn't have any bowls, right?
That's a tough
Um,
one.
and so and same with trash. I would keep forgetting to take out the trash, and then I'd wake up in the morning and the trash would need to go out, and I'm running out the door, and now I have to take the trash out too. And it's like
Right.
it's a little tough. It was like stressful to have to carry everything out all at once. And so what I did was I was like, all right, here's my evening routine. Put on an audiobook or a fun podcast and just listen to, get ready for bed, um, before Leo goes to sleep. And then, after Leo goes to sleep, I have this, 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 this. It
Mhm.
makes sense for me to like do the laundry first, or do the dishes first, and then do the trash after that. Right? Just make it like this is the order that it goes in. And then it needs to change. That's fine. I can change it. Or if, we want to do something else, like, Phoebe wants tea every night. Now I can say, after I get the dishes done, put the kettle on while I'm getting the trash, the tea will heat up and she'll be ready to have tea.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's like just stuff like that. You don't get any extra points for keeping it all in your head.
No.
No one's gonna get mad at you if you write it down.
Yeah.
So write it down.
You can even have a whiteboard that you put on the fridge and you just
Yep.
write it down, and then you put little check marks and you erase them, and then you just do the same thing every week or every day. Whatever you need to do.
Yep.
Just get it in a system that makes sense for you. And then once it's in the system, once it's a habit, you don't have to, think about it as much. And then it's
Exactly.
just there. So you're gonna have to do a lot of upfront effort to install it. And then and there's no easy way to do that, unfortunately. So you might have to, I don't know. I don't know what is keeping you from your wife, but figure it out.
Well, I
Hopefully
think
with
that was
some of
good
these
advice.
tips. I think so too.
Yeah.
Man, I got a meeting here soon. This recliner hasn't come, but it should be dropped off soon. I think after my meeting, I'm gonna take a little nap, a little Ash Wednesday nap. Come on, baby, let's go. I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a nap on fast days. Can I say
Oh,
that?
not at all. I
No,
recommend it. I
no.
went to bed at 8 o'clock last night. By that I mean I was snoozing at 8 o'clock. Like I was in bed at 7 reading, and then I went to bed at 8. Woke up at
Oh,
7. So nice.
I would do anything to have that.
You'll get there, man.
No, I won't. It's never gonna change.
It's always gonna be. I'm always going to have a 3-month-old.
I'm always gonna have a 3-month-old. He's always gonna wake up every 30 minutes, no matter what I do. We'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
We're working.
It's temporary.
It is temporary. You were talking about how your phone is locked down. My phone is also locked down. Emma has blocked every website except for this one.
Why?
So that anytime I'm in a bad mood, I can look up Obama and I can see it, and then it makes me happy.
How did she
again.
block every website except for that one?
Well, she just used sort of the apps and the passwords and the codes and to make it so that it was blocked.
So she like whitelisted that website.
No, she didn't actually do that. Okay, the recliner is here.
Okay. So you have to go get reclined.
bit.ly/crunch destroy the Crunch Catholic Podcast on youtube.com. Make sure to like and subscribe and share this episode with a friend if you care. Patrick, do you have anything else for the people?
Get your ash to mass. #hashtag.
Cash Wednesday, baby.